What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the massive opportunities in the Solana ecosystem now that Solana is at a level where potentially a further breakdown could absolutely make millionaires. So smash a like. Of course, everybody's talking about where Bitcoin is going. And currently sitting at $66,250. However, the opportunities are way greater than Bitcoin. The way I'm seeing currently right now, you should be absolutely focused on your bear market hit list. Now, we gave out a masterclass in macroeconomics here. Every single time that I post in the Discord, it is absolutely insane how accurate it is. So for one, let's look at the liquidity picture here. We talk about the relationship between the general trading account and the liquidity in the system. So only liquidity can save us. If you're, okay, only saving grace is the TGA account, okay? As it approaches 1 trillion, liquidity is tight. And of course, for most people, all you have to understand is this. The dynamic between bank reserves and the TGA account acts like a seesaw, right? So money cannot be at two places at once, okay? It's either sitting in the government's account or the TGA account, or it's in circulation with the banks and private banking, of course, and it's being lent and used. Right now, what you're seeing is quantitative tightening and not quantitative easing. Now, they officially announced it, of course, but with the way inflation is going and a few other things, we have got back up to 923 billion and approaching 1 trillion. What we need is an inverse relationship to show when this chart bottoms, Bitcoin and risk assets will move up. And like vice versa, when this chart is up, which means liquidity is being pulled and is tight and there's no credit available to banks, then risk assets tend to fall in value because no one's going to risk themselves in their, their right frame of mind. Now, a couple of other things before I jump into this amazing Solana video where I give you my top picks for farming the Solana ecosystem in the next 12 months. Life-changing money. Of course, we'll get into that. But I did say the extension of the flagpole was going to be towards this $57,000 level or this blue line here. And I posted this in the VIP Discord yesterday. So that's where the 200-week moving average is. And that's where you need to start looking potentially for Bitcoin to reverse. And we've got that very, very accurate. Along with this macro stuff, one of the things that I talk about is de-dollarization. And that's a lot of FUD. Breaking news, globalized news, everybody's putting FUD against the dollar. And here I talk about the fact that the dollar cannot be shifted anytime soon as the world reserve currency. Anything that suggests, or anybody who talks about de-dollarization doesn't know what they're talking about in macroeconomics, okay? So 48 to 50% of China's external debt is denoted in foreign currency, with 78 to 84% being the US dollar. Guys, there's a lot of FUD out there, but don't fall for this one. China cannot exist without America and vice versa. So these are some of the macro headwinds, and you're hearing a lot of the dollar is going to lose supremacy, the world's going to de-dollarize, the dollar is going to remain the world's reserve currency. So let's talk about the opportunities in the Solana ecosystem. And why do I want to bring you this? Well, first of all, rather than looking at this in a despondent way, this is a generational time to be active in these markets. Why? We know Solana is a very highly efficient layer 1 blockchain that is at the core most transactions and most sectors that it covers. It has important infrastructure ecosystem, and those are going to make you rich. So Solana is actually, I did put this in the Discord, but Solana is going to be at this level of $80, which it has to hold. Again, it broke below $92, very key level. So are we going to see a Solana that is in the lower range between $50 to, I would probably say this $50 to about, I don't know, low 20s? Anything is possible, and I am here for it. So without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best first that should be on your list is Jupiter. Why do I say Jupiter? Jupiter is not only the Solana DEX, a perpetual DEX, a central liquidity hub, everything Solana goes through Jupiter. However, Jupiter also has one of the best advanced prediction markets. Jupiter is a ginormous infrastructure play. You can lend, borrow, you have the terminal, you have the swaps, you have the rewards, you have everything you can need. But as prediction markets grow within crypto, Jupiter is at the heart of that. So in my opinion, not only is it a DEX, as people think about it, Jupiter is way beyond that. So here's what I'm looking to do with Jupiter. The price is at $500 million. Now, they just had the Jupiter event over there in Malaysia and Thailand. So TVL right now is still very healthy at almost 3 billion. Circulating supply is basically the 3 billion right now, right? So it does have some inflation, but there is obviously burns and other things that have been voted on or are currently under discussion. Make no mistake about it, Jupiter at these levels is a steal. However, if Solana is going to continue to pull back, and you can see here, this is the all-time low after all-time low, 75% of the all-time high. This is a long-term play. So in my opinion, Jupiter should be, if you see anything around 500 million, and we should get that if Solana keeps pulling back, is at a good price right now, but 500 million and below, Jupiter becomes absolutely ideal long-term hold. Is way, way more valuable than Uniswap, right? And I think it will be one of the best DEXs available in the market. So that would be my number one play for the Solana network. The next one I would keep my eyes and ears on, right, is Bonk. Now, Bonk is a meme coin. And of course, we do not put priorities on meme coins, as always. However, watch this one as it crashes down in market value. Why? This is the OG. I had a massive airdrop of this back in 2023. Okay. So this is their Pump.fun, their own native meme coin on the Solana network. It's the OG, it's the first ever Solana meme coin. And I think if you're going to buy shitcoin, you might as well start from the top in terms of what you wanna eye. So it does tend to have periods of massive pumps, and if Solana does well, I think Bonk will do very well. So keep your eyes on Bonk. The next token I would keep myself 100% my eyes and ears glued is Zebec Network. Now, Zebec is an RWA/Deepin project. It's one of the most fundamental projects on the Solana network. So if you think of this being built on top of Solana, what you got is something called PayFi, or payment stablecoin payment role, seamless PayFi in motion. And also it has the physical, not only the card, but the physical terminal for businesses to be able to buy or charge customers in their facilities using stablecoins. And that makes it a very good AI and Deepin project for businesses, as well as the payrolls and other applications. They just been to Davos. This is a great team building a great project, in my opinion, made in the US. So Zebec should be on top of your priority. Of course, they've got a whole stack of team here, people that are visible, working very hard. And I think this will grow over time. But what it needs is just a break in the market. At 100 million and some change, it is now a small market cap, but sub 100, it becomes a micro cap. Sub 50, small cap, micro cap status. I think this will be a tremendous addition to your bag. And the moment it goes beyond $100 million, I think I'd buy even a little bit more just to make sure my bag is well balanced. But they're not going anywhere. And I think it's a long-term, yes, slightly high risk, but it's one of the physical projects that have physical products that will have longevity, in my opinion. Okay, so employees and contractors access the pay via check app or the pay card. Of course, you've got net pay. If you don't know what net pay is, I've already done a video on it. Have a look at what that is. Hybrid tech built on modern HR platforms. So they're putting themselves as the future solution for payroll. Okay, very important. Okay, next one is going to be Well Mobile token. Now, of course, you could look at Helium as well. Okay, Helium Mobile is brilliant, but Well Mobile token at $50 million, it's going to be one of these ones that needs to be on your list. And one of the reasons for that is for me, Helium is the one. Your phone, your data, your rewards. This is a physical project that has it's a deepened project, right? It has a real world use case. And no matter what people are looking outside of this, it's done relatively well compared to where it would normally be if it was just a BS project. But revolutionizing how the world connects, innovates, innovation, mobile networks that puts you in control. I think this is an interesting concept, very, very good. It's a decentralized mobile network, basically, and it's got a serious team. Now, again, if these work in the long term, nobody knows. However, it is absolutely something that's going to revolutionize, and it has a specific niche. So right now, this is $40 million, $50 million market cap. Of course, I would be putting this on my watch list, and should the price of Solana come down some more, God will give you an opportunity to cake it in on something like this. So put this on your list. Of course, fully diluted here is only $140 million, but the trading volume and the exchanges are superb, right? It's on Coinbase. So it's a very good project to keep your eyes and ears locked in on. The next one I would look at without any hesitation, right? Without any kind of regrets, is the bad boy itself. So if you can't afford to get Jupiter and you feel like Jupiter is way too big for you, how about a small project called Raydium, which is the other Solana DEX, which has $157 million market cap, but a whopping billion in TVL. Fantastic trading volume, great tokenomics. I mean, 50% nearly of the supply is there already. And I think once the market finds its bottom, this bad boy could be one of the best investments, not financial advice, but Raydium could be where the action's at, with the liquidity pools, with the TVL, with the perpetuals as well. You know, we know, for example, the likes of Asta and those guys are already doing great, Hyperliquid. And then you've obviously got the launch pad here as well. So they are doing their own Pump.fun or their own Bonk style shitcoin launch or launches, right? So do not ignore this. This is an unbelievably undervalued project right now. And the only thing I can compare to is PancakeSwap. Back in the days, Pancake or Cake made a crazy amount of money for us. So this is one not to ignore. And at 59 cents, right? This is a price that I think will be a bargain in the long term. Now, the tokenomics situation, it should be $500 million capped, right? So max supply, 550 million, and already nearly 270 million are in circulation. So that checks out really well. So this is the AMM. This is the aerodrome finance of the Solana ecosystem. Do not ignore this. This went all the way 4 years ago. This did $16 in the last cycle. And I do believe this could go all the way to some crazy numbers. The numbers here could be astronomical, not financial advice. But ideally, I would want it to crash some more. Like I said, I'm not buying any of this stuff right now, and I'm not going to FOMO to it, despite the fact that they're very cheap, because of the simple fact that some of these I haven't held in a couple of years. For example, Bonk, I got it as an airdrop and I sold it. So I'm not running back in. I'm just telling you what's hot right now in this ecosystem. Next one would be, I would never turn my eye on a Solana Oracle similar to Chainlink that just recently announced that they were taking custody of the entire project through the DAO to make it better decentralized and, of course, to manage it. This was a big news from them. But the price of everything everywhere, if you think Solana is going to be important in the stock market, Solana oracles are going to be used worldwide, Solana is just going to get bigger and bigger in the long term, I genuinely believe since it says over 120 financial institutions, including the world's biggest exchanges, market makers, and trading firms, push their data directly through the Pyth network. So this is your chain link on Solana. And in my opinion, it is right now, it's peanuts. It's going for just nothing, right? And I'm saying do not, because recently it had issues with tokenomics and there was a massive price correction and unlock and stuff like that. But it's all great. What really drives this is the price of Solana. I want Solana to come here to this $40 to $20 range, $50 to $20, $30. If that happens at the bottom of a bear market, then I shall load a ton of this, because this is just a $200 million market cap cryptocurrency, which is a 50%, just over 50% circulation in terms of tokenomics. And to be honest, right now, these tend to move. They take time to move, but I think genuinely speaking, it's going to be a very, very good project because it is an oracle. You need this for accurate price updates across the world, right? For all of the Solana dApps to use, or for Binance or anybody else to use this, okay? The token itself is a governance token, and of course, that's what it does. You can stake it. So essentially, more importantly, this is a network essential to the Solana ecosystem. And I'll definitely jump in to get some of that. Okay, next one would be, this one's a little bit more controversial. It's Pump.fun, okay? And the more court cases they have, the more people commit suicide on there. Rest in peace for all those people streaming and took their lives. It's not funny, by the way. But anyway, this is crazy. 1.2 billion. What we need is this to come all the way down to a couple of $100 million. Then I'll be super interested. Decent TVL. But what Pump.fun is, if you're going to buy a bunch of shit coins, right, you might as well buy the ones that take the money and do the buybacks and burns, right? Make sense? Buybacks and burns, and that's how they work, man. These guys, that's how they roll. And, shit coins will always be on here. There's people live on here. Man, all kinds of crazy stuff's going on. People having sex on here. It is mad. And they've got a legal case. So none of this is financial advice here. But this would be the central shitcoin hub for all the mother of all shitcoins. So if this dips below $500 million, I'm having a dig. Even right now, even below $1 billion, I think this will end up doing well. But they do have a court case and some noise coming out of the camp. All right. Now let me give you, that's a shit coin, right? So let's go with a better coin, right? If you're not into Pump.fun, then I suggest you go with, or you track something like Helium Network. Helium Network, if you look at this over the past, since the last bull market, it's done nothing, right? But what it is this is an essential decentralized blockchain for the it's IoT. It literally is one of the best Solana projects in my opinion, and it has a real world use case. So whether it's connectivity and all these things, especially AI, video streaming, and everything else, it's ridiculous. They've got a physical project. It should be one of the better deep-in projects on Solana. They've got tons of case studies as well. You can check that out. But essentially, this would be a proper business, right? It's a proper deep-in project. So that's why you're gonna have to they've got wireless routers as well. They've got the whole lot. I think this is way undervalued. And in my opinion, in an era where most cryptocurrencies are useless, right? 141 million market cap for something like this is an absolute throwaway because of the market. A couple of more bonuses that I'll give you. I will give you the one that could potentially win in the case of explosion for AI. Grass is solely built on Solana, right? $90 million market cap. You may be thinking, what do you mean, DXB? Grass is just this reward thing on. No, it's not. It's not just because of that. Grass is just way more than that. So what you have is right now, I think some people, we've stopped mining this, by the way, in terms of the dashboard and stuff like that. But the data collected here could be paired up with another network, and this could be a gigantic leap forward in the development of AI. I have actually read a paper. I'm probably going to do a video on it separately, but grass should be on your watch list at the very least as a technology. All right, guys, listen, don't be afraid of these markets. The markets could go lower. However, it is all about what you believe in long term. In my opinion, that a lot of 90% of crypto will die in the next bull market, but that 10% that runs will be running. This is exactly like the .com bubble, and things will get absolutely ballistic from here. Like I said, 200-week moving average. The sooner we get there, the better, and we can move forward to better liquidity. Anyway, guys, let me know what you're buying in the Solana network, and of course, as always, stay blessed and stop worrying about what's going to happen beyond the current bottom, because crypto will bottom. And yes, this is a bear market, regardless of what anyone says. 66,600 is the current price. So anyway, guys, God bless.